Welcome back. Let's get into it. The second day of the Elite Eight as we kind of set the table for the Final Four in March Madness. I want to break down my picks. We'll look at the two games today, kind of recap what we saw yesterday, and get you guys on your way and into this lovely Sunday. All right. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us here on the platform. Quick little recap from yesterday. Smash the Duke Florida money line combo. That's going to be one that paid a pretty decent price. It kind of shocked on that, and actually, um, if you were able to jump on some Florida action about 5-10 minutes into that first half, actually about 2 minutes a game clock, you were able to get a very discounted price there within Florida on the spread and the money line if you waited for live in game as Texas Tech got out to an early lead. But great comeback by the Gators. I know there's a lot of Texas Tech backers. Great season to them. And that's something where we talk about kind of just great basketball. I mean, the Duke Alabama game, even though it was a blowout, 20-point margin, it's what we knew. And I think that sometimes just seeing those impressive performances, like such as the one we saw with the Blue Devils, still scoring almost 90 points and holding a team like Alabama down to what they did within the 60s was just admonishing for me as a basketball fan. So that was our only loser. Just didn't get there with the total. Mark Sears, probably one of his worst tournament games as a college athlete. So their season is over, and now we look forward to the two games we have today coming down the line within the Michigan State Auburn game, as well as Tennessee and Houston. So great matchups. Starts a little early, so this is where this video is going to be getting out. If you guys are new to the channel, though, we use Outlier to break down the picks. Start betting today with Outlier. There is a link down below in the description for a 7-day free trial. Check them out. And let's get into the odds here. Okay. We are going to dive into kind of what we're seeing within the March Madness, the last two games. You can see kind of way the public money, the betting splits are set. This number has dropped a little bit. Tennessee was about I believe they opened at a 3.5, maybe it was a 4.5 point underdog. It was 3.5. Okay, so Tennessee taking a lot of money, giving you guys, if you are a Houston backer, a little bit of an edge here. Now, this is something where I do have kind of a contrarian play in this game. I'm not going to tell you where I'm at with that, but full disclosure, transparency, my bracket is set now with my Final Four, me needing Michigan State, Florida, Duke, and Houston, and then Houston advancing into a matchup against Florida where Florida brings it home. So I just want to tell you guys that because I will be betting kind of in a way to hedge that. If I do get Michigan State win today, if I do get Houston to advance as well, it really does put me in an advantageous, profitable position where I can really hedge out of some money within the Final Four. Okay. That's what we're rooting for. My bets, though, will be based solely on the numbers where I'm at. I'm not really doing that. I won't give you guys a pick based off my bracket. Don't worry. Okay. But where I see the first game headed, I think the Cougars do advance. I think this is a kind of a fake, kind of pump fake with the line movement. I think Tennessee. Talk about them. I believe number 3 in college basketball with overall defense, and Houston Cougars, they are number 1. So it comes down to me for this game. The one thing that does worry me is the football stadium element. That is a factor with the sight lines. We kind of saw that a little bit temporarily. Personally, though, I don't think it's going to really matter because we saw a decent performance from Houston in the first game in terms of scoring. And I don't really think it mattered too much all in all against Purdue. If you want to look at the total 62-60, I think they were in command of that game. I think that was a very bad matchup in terms of just geographically, with Purdue basically having a home game. But if you want to talk about Houston kind of squeaking their way by, I mean, the 5-point margin against Gonzaga, and I will tell you guys, they don't really put teams out. Okay, they're really struggling to just finish and drive that nail into the coffin, and that's kind of where I worry about Tennessee. But I do think the Houston Cougars advance. I think that they're just waiting, kind of to make their move, similar to what we saw within Texas Tech yesterday. Texas Tech played a heck of a ball game. I think that within the Big 12, there's a couple teams that go undervalued. Houston's definitely one of those teams, in my opinion. and what they were able to get against Florida. I think that you see how Houston was able to win on the road against Texas Tech. They definitely can do this. And quite frankly, guys, as much as Tennessee's playing good ball, they've never made it to the Final Four. I just, quite frankly, don't trust Rick Barnes. Love some of the players on their team, but this is something where, down the stretch, I think I got to go with my man Kelvin Sampson and take the Houston Cougars. So I would be laying at 2.5. And also, I do think that the over in the under is a little bit too low. Okay, this is a game where you look into the 120s, 124.5. I mean, I know this is kind of D on D, but are we really going to talk about a total set at 124.5? I just think this one, you'd almost have to go over. It's kind of just setting it up for you. So a little bit of a contrarian play where I would go over the total 124.5. Personally, if I was going to bet this game, that would be my official play, going over that total. Okay, albeit two great defenses. Secondly, the last game, this 5:05 tip, Michigan State Auburn. Okay, this is one where, quite frankly, I don't know how you don't bet on Michigan State. They're just waiting, in my personal opinion, kind of make their move. They really haven't had their game that they've broken out from. And I think, personally, I think if you look into this one, if I had a bet one direction or another, this is where we're going to look into kind of the angle where we're going to kind of go a little bit. I don't want to say overthink it, but this is kind of where we look into the game in terms of the first half. Okay, and if you go in here, you find half. Okay, the first half spread, you can see kind of where we have an advantage. You want to get first half money line, taking Auburn. Okay, that's where a tie kind of results in a loss. But I think this is something where you could look into this and really find an advantage taking Auburn, getting it down, -2.5 at -105, best number available. That's something that does interest me quite a bit. Michigan State's been playing, Jekyll and Hyde, right? Um, they've come out of the gate slow. They started slow and really can't get going until they have to make the comeback. They've done it in both games thus far in the tournament. And Auburn, the only thing I'll tell you about them is that against Michigan, they did do the same exact thing. So I personally think this is going to be kind of a grinded out kind of spot. Very little possessions, and this is kind of my best bet of the day for the Michigan State Auburn game, and that's where we're going to go into just looking into the full game total. Okay, and that's where it's already been bet down from 149.5. That's kind of be where possessions are very scarce. If you can find it, okay, and this is where we're going to show you guys because the numbers have moved. Let's look at some alternate lines. Okay, you can still find the 149.5 at -135. If you have any boosts out there, you have any way to buy this number down, that is the best opportunity, in my personal opinion. Every point will matter. 148.5 though at -120. That's about as high as I'll go. But if this game lands on 149, it is what it is. But I definitely think the under in Auburn and Michigan State is the way to go, and that would be my best bet of the day. Okay, so that's basically it. It's a short slate, 2 games. Wanted to give you guys a quick rundown, some final thoughts as we close out kind of the Elite Eight. So I'm going Michigan State, Auburn under 148.5 at -120. If you can find a 149 in the market, take it. Okay, because I think that it might come down to the stretch, those half points within the tournament. These are some of the sharpest numbers I think we've seen, by the odds makers in quite some time. Every single game, pretty much right on the money, unless it's something where you're going to see some huge public influence, such as what we got with Auburn. Alabama and Duke with that point total, where you just really have to be on your game on both sides to go over the total. Okay, but that's kind of what I got going on. Hopefully, you guys have some live brackets if you're into some second chance stuff. Also, futures action. Michigan State staring down the board 25-1. That's pretty much the only value thing I could think of. Florida has a little bit of value, almost $3. But Duke almost a dead even favorite. That's probably the best angle right now, because if they do get in and surpass Houston, Houston on the money, it just depends who you like. But I will tell you, if you are a Duke player, and you're backing Duke, to go all the way, take them now versus take them after they advance to the national championship. You're going to get a ton more value. Also, another way you can kind of do that within your bets is by taking Duke in the Final Four and then just kind of pressing that money, kicking it down the road to that next bet, just parlay it into the championship. So stack it. So basically 2 bets and just press it. You'll pretty much get the same money as if you would take Duke futures right now. Okay. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, guys, I'm going under the Auburn Michigan State game. A little bit of a lean favor to the Auburn first half on the money line. And hopefully Sparty does advance for my brackets purpose. And then on the other side of the coin, we will go with the Tennessee game. I just really like Houston on the money line, and I'm not scared to lay it. If you want to take a -2.5, great. I haven't made my mind up yet, but just being honest, I want to kind of see how much buy down we get, potentially even closer to a pick 'em. A little closer to that 2 o'clock tip off, but I am waiting to get a cheap price on Houston. And then hopefully the Cougars do advance in the spot. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for all watching, tuning in. Good luck with your bets, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow in the next video. Cheers.